So, welcome back to the Bad Pipes podcast. I am your host, Andrew Weaver. With me today are my two very best film buds, and that's going to be my co-host, Scott, the Greg Kelly, and very good friend of the podcast. If he keeps showing up every once in a while, maybe we'll make him an honorary co-host, Isaac Walsh.
I'm here. Don't bestow titles upon me.
Oh, you don't have a title in the Discord, do you?
No, I don't.
Well, I'm your emperor, Andrew, and I think to start it off, we're going to talk about some trailers because this week I've noticed that there are just a shit ton of trailers out for games, movies, all sorts of shit. All right. Now, first off, we are primarily a Star Wars hating podcast. So let's talk about Star Wars Outlaws. Have you guys watched the trailer for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we've all seen the trailer for it. Are you aware of the like to dislike ratio on the trailer right now?
Yeah, it's like
It's probably
87k to like 35k or something like that.
Oh no. Oh no. It is much worse than that. Is this the fuck? I looked up the fucking story trailer. God damn it. Where's the actual trailer?
The listeners are waiting.
Did they delete it? Dude, they might have deleted it.
Sure, why not? I would delete it.
All right, so the last one I saw, the official trailer for it had about 120,000 likes and over 600,000 dislikes.
Mm-hmm.
People, needless to say, are not particularly happy about this.
Yeah, I think the gameplay looks fun. I think everything else about it looks like shit. And I would really love to know what Humberly Gonzalez thinks, who is the motion capture and voice actress of the lead in Star Wars Outlaws. Because I have not often seen voice / mocap artists have their likenesses
Completely erased.
completely wiped off the face of the map this way.
Yeah, I mean, with the exception of Kino, who we're going to talk about whenever we get to Andor later in this episode.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even Andy Serkis kind of looks like Golem. Like, they take some of his facial features and, like, put them in there, right?
Yeah, I mean, like Joel in The Last of Us. Like, they really, Troy Baker's eyes. Like, you can see, like, his eyes, even, like, his jawline a little bit. Yeah, they mess stuff around. I mean, but, and it's, like, the whole conversation has shifted to, like, oh, all these, like, grimy incels just want hot women in all of their games. Like, we don't need every game to be Stellar Blade. That's not what we're saying here.
Yeah, like,
we're
not
just
every
saying
game needs to be, like, a highly, like, sexualized,
No.
kind
But
of
I also don't necessarily want to exist in a world where every main character in a video game gets turned into Lizzo. That's not where we're at yet, thank God. But she got canceled, so I can say that. But it is frustrating. It is frustrating that, like, everybody, that especially these artists that are putting all this work in, are having their likenesses so severely changed in a negative way.
Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about Spider-Man 2 a couple weeks ago, but, like, the girl for Mary Jane is, like, a very pretty girl, and then you look at her model in Spider-Man 2 and she's, like, got a lot of sort of masculine features, like her, I don't know, like, she doesn't look like the actress.
If you hold up, like, Cal Kestis, he is Cameron Monaghan.
Cal Kestis is 1-to-1. Yeah.
It is Cameron Monaghan.
Yeah.
That is who he is.
Oh, yeah.
I do not understand why you would then take this actress who looks like she could be a lead in a Star Wars thing, and then go, no, we're going to make her look this way.
Yeah, because I even
I
feel like it got worse somehow. Like
it did. The first trailer wasn't that
months
bad. The new
ago-
trailer, dog shit.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's different graphical settings or something, or what.
She
they
looks like
did,
a Michael
but-
Jackson now.
Here's my take. I don't see anything wrong with her appearance. You're portraying an outlaw. You're portraying a scoundrel. Yeah, maybe she should look a little rugged. I looked at
face pony soldiers.
Yeah, I looked at the voice actresses like Twitter. She seems pretty hyped about it. She's retweeting a lot of like cosplays that people are already doing of the lead and all that. My thing is, my issue with it is I feel like she looks dog shit because of an inconsistency in graphics. The hair looks terrible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like I feel
that's
like
what I was kind of getting at there.
my thing is like I feel like I look at some like I'll see her in some shots and I'll be like, yeah, she looks pretty good. Then sometimes I'm just like, wow, she looks absolute dog shit and her hair looks like straw.
Yeah, you see like a cinematic and you're like, okay, she looks okay there.
Yeah.
And then you see another one and she looks like a
Well,
what are the
like I'll put
fucking
it in
space
chat.
goblins in Baldur's Gate.
Like that photo, not bad. And then you get something like this. That's the one that's going around. It's like there's just so much inconsistency there. That looks
Yeah.
like two totally different
That's what
people.
I'm saying. You got like a cinematic there where she's pretty, and I think that's from the like announcement trailer like 10 months ago.
Yeah.
But then you've got the other one, which she's starting to look like the freaking space goblin race from,
Yeah.
from Baldur's Gate. The fuck
It's
is
just
it
like
called? Damn it.
it is just like such an inconsistency. It's just like those. I don't know. The graphics just. I don't know. I don't know how you fall like that. How
That
you
shot
fall
was
so hard on
probably that shot was probably taken on an Xbox Series S. That's why. That's what happened.
Dude, yeah, no, honestly.
They're starting to fucking hedge their bets. And then, like,
I
to
say that
further
as a proud owner of an Xbox Series S, by the way.
Oh god.
I think we have one too.
Yeah.
But I don't
it's-
even think it's plugged in.
It's the best.
But the other issue was the price points for it. Did you guys see that?
Yeah,
Oh my
so
God,
that's
dude.
actually that was the thing I
That's
was seeing
more
most people in
insane
the
than anything.
comments. That's what people
Mhm.
in the comments were ripping on the trailer. They're just like, I'm gonna dislike this because like strictly for this being Ubisoft just like trying to rip everyone off.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is
Sure.
the fact that because I've never played a game that has this in it, but apparently this is what this is implying, that there will be included in the base game missions that you cannot unlock in the base game without paying for the deluxe edition
Yeah.
to
Well, so
unlock the mission.
basically, from what I was getting, that deluxe edition comes with like two. So you're gonna get like 2 later DLC, which is like okay. So you're already like planning out extra content. That seems like it's not too far off. Why not? Like, why wasn't this just finished and
Just
released with the full
for the
game?
listeners, real quick, let me go through the price points.
Yeah.
The standard edition of the game is $70. You get the base game and a pre-order bonus, which includes a cosmetic pack for a speeder and a cosmetic pack or a cosmetic for the Trailblazer spaceship. Also, Trailblazer, isn't that a fucking SUV?
Yeah, Chevy baby.
Good God, dude, come on.
Hey, don't you want to
the
go
gold
drive your
edition-
Chevy speeder?
No.
Yeah,
They're gonna start selling brand. They're gonna start selling branded like you can have like a Ford fucking Star Cruiser.
Dude, they already
Let's
have.
go.
Do you not
Selling
remember
brand
that?
spots.
Whenever,
Oh
Like-
god.
it's gonna be
not Rogue
gonna be
One.
Star Citizen.
Oh, it was Rogue One. They sold like a Nissan Rogue One edition. I saw one at the parking lot of the liquor store the other
no.
day.
Yes. All right, so
I know
No.
exactly what you're talking about.
the gold edition
America has fallen.
is $110. You get the base game, the same pre-order bonus. You get 3 days early access, and then you get the season pass, right? Which gives you day 1 DLC for the Jabba's Gambit exclusive mission available at launch, and the Kessel Run character pack featuring additional cosmetics for the main character and their little gremlin thing that runs around with them.
Yeah.
Then you have the Ultimate Edition, which is at $130, It gets you everything the gold edition had, plus a Rogue Infiltrator bundle, which is cosmetics for K, Nyx, Speeder, Trailblazer, Spaceship. The Sabak Shark bundle, which is cosmetics for K, her blaster, Nyx, the Speeder, and the Trailblazer Spaceship. And then a digital art book, right?
Yeah.
So you can
Worth it for just the art book, honestly.
If it was an actual printed art book that was like 150 pages, I would say yes. Like the collector's editions of the Warhammer Fantasy role-playing campaign, which by the way is 2 books, not 1, those are about $130.
Yeah.
Jeez.
This is not print. It's digital.
It's wild.
It's 3 days early access to a game, and it's essentially 1, 2, 3 cosmetic packs and day 1 DLC for a mission.
Well, yeah. So you get like the 2 future DLC, but I think the biggest thing is there is day 1 DLC on this game. They said, "Hey,
That's
you're
the
getting
big one.
You're getting the base game. You're getting the full game. Except no, here's some extra content we already have done. Instead of just adding it into the game, we're gonna release it as extra content." That's like the biggest thing that I think everyone's just ripping on them for, because it's ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah, that's insane.
Or, and here's your final offer. All right.
No.
You pay $18 a month for Ubisoft Plus or whatever the fuck it's called. No, it literally is Ubisoft Plus.
Yeah, I saw this.
You pay $18 a month and you get the Ultimate Edition. Or, sorry, you get access to the Ultimate Edition.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, did you hear what the CEO of Ubisoft said at this, right after this was announced?
Oh,
What'd
no.
they say?
He said, "In the future, I do not see a world where gamers own their games."
Oh, no.
yeah.
He said that years ago.
Yeah, well, he
Yeah.
This is them
reiterated it.
putting
He said
that
it. He
into
said it
motion.
again.
He's
He
been
said it
saying
again.
it. That's I think the third top comment on the trailer now is some dude saying buying equals not owning, pirating equals not stealing. So,
I mean, if
Depending on
one,
the point.
then the other. That's half decent logic there. All right,
no, honestly,
so
yeah.
big controversy there. Personally, I'm not gonna get it. It's not the kind of game that interests me.
If it comes on Game Pass, I'll play it because Xbox boy.
Yeah.
Or like I've been seeing commented a couple years from now when the game has failed and it's all free or significantly discounted, they'll get it when it's like the full game for $20, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's that's where I'm at. I don't think I'm gonna get it, but I also think it's crazy for people to just immediately like Asmongold having a worst game of the year already. It's like he doesn't even know what the gameplay is gonna be like. It's like it's a little. I think it's a little too soon to be ripping it as like worst game of the year when
No,
there are going to
but
be a lot of
also-
other games that follow the same like purchasing model. We've already been seeing it. There's so many games that just release so many different versions with like their extra content or whatever, and so many people are pushing for a subscription model. It's just like we're going to see more of that this year. I guarantee it.
And something to keep in mind with online content creator people is that they're gonna have
they're always
clickbaity titles.
Yeah, that's fair too. They're always going to be clickbaiting.
Because I'm pretty sure in that video he never was like, "Yeah, this is by far worst game of the year." It was just like the editor or someone was like, "This will be funny to title it this."
His editor does not get paid enough.
To be fair, I took the bait. I clicked on it, so you know what? Fuck me then.
His editor is a genius.
Yeah.
That man does not get paid enough.
Yeah.
Truly. Also, I figured out what the discrepancy was. So whenever I was looking up this trailer, all right, what it's at right now, the trailer from 3 days ago is it's actually pretty close to 50-50. It's 33K up, 42 down. Not terrible, all right, but I foresee that as more people learn about this,
spread.
getting bad. The trailer I was thinking of was the Star Wars Acolyte trailer, which we had previously talked about. but
Down
I kind
bad.
of wanted to revisit, because it's been out for 3 weeks now, has 189 likes, 672 dislikes. Hefty.
Hefty. Hefty.
Considering that number is approaching 1 million between the likes and dislikes, to put it into context, this video has about 10 million views, so a tenth of the people who saw this felt strongly enough to react to it.
I just want to say, top comment is someone saying, in quotes, "Someone is killing the Jedi," and then right under it, it's Disney. Yeah.
Somehow, the Emperor has returned.
Yeah, and I'm gonna reference this trailer again whenever we get to Andor because of costuming, actually. So yeah, that's what I was thinking of whenever I was thinking about the dislike thing.
Yeah, I had I actually had some quite a few thoughts on the costuming of Andor.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Joker 2, musical Boogaloo.
I didn't watch the trailer for that one.
What is the actual name of the movie?
Ole adieu.
Joker.
Some
Yeah.
fucking French shit. God damn it. Joker. Folie à Dukes. So Scott, you haven't seen this, right?
I haven't now.
But Isaac, you have.
Yes.
I'm gonna be honest. It don't look too bad.
Do you know what folie adieu means?
Something a two.
No. It is a shared psychosis. It is a shared delusional disorder where one person has a devout delusional belief / hallucination that they successfully are able to transmit into another person.
Right. To be fair, I'm not totally incorrect because it translates to folly of two.
Yeah.
So it fits for the Joker Harley Quinn theme.
Yeah. I do like that they are not just ripping off the Batman animated series version of this. That she's a patient, she's not his doctor. I like that. Because I was worried that they were just going to rip off one of my favorite animated episodes of television of all time. That and the Heart of Ice ones that they did with Mr. Freeze origin story, just honestly two of the best animated things ever. But the Joker Harley Quinn love story and how that whole thing works was partially ripped off in David Ayer's horrible Suicide Squad movie. So I'm very grateful that they didn't do that. And it doesn't look like they are at all. It looks like half of this movie takes place in their psychosis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In their own head.
That's where the musical aspect is going to come in.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, that's cool. That's cool.
And I'll say this. A lot of people whenever this had just been announced and that it came out that it was going to be a musical, a lot of people were like, ew, no. And then another set of people were like, it didn't need a second movie. And I think because it is like pretty much all the same people working on it, I'm interested in it, and the trailer got me interested in it, so I think to that degree it was a good trailer.
Yeah, it was a good trailer.
I don't think I had much interest in it before that, so
I enjoyed the first movie. I thought it was really well done. I thought the ending, when you as an audience member want him to kill Robert De Niro's host, you do. I don't care who said that they didn't. You want him to do it. When his host, the host is not a bad dude. He's just, he said some things that aren't very nice. But like people say things that aren't very nice all the time. So to have him, to be an audience member and go, yeah, kill Robert De Niro, do it. You're like, am I the bad guy? Like, are we the baddies? So I thought that was really well done. So I'm excited to see what they do with this one. But it is unfortunate that the like incel movement somehow became blamed, or that became like a poster movie for them. I don't know why, but
No, it's one of these movies that gets grouped in with them, and it's like I don't think it fairly gets that. Like, yeah, sure, some of them probably have an attachment to it, but in the same way that, like, I think broadly speaking, guys of our generation are attached to certain movies, like Fight Club. Like, Fight Club's another movie that it's like, oh, incels, and it's like that's not true. All right, it's guys who are frustrated and they don't have an outlet for their frustration against society, you know,
yeah,
and they don't have a sense of community, and it's like that's exactly what this guy and Joker is going through. And like, of course it's going to resonate with an audience that is at like record numbers for like responses of loneliness, basically, you know.
yeah.
As far as like research and whatnot has kind of said. So like, on the one hand, like, yeah, there probably are some incel folk who have picked it up and been like, this is me, literally
I just meant that's the conversation became, this is a movie for incel.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's more what I was referencing.
Yeah. Well, I think you've always had like many incel guys pick up the persona of the Joker, even before the first movie. Back when you had, you know.
There was that guy who shot up that theater, and there was the guy who shot up that theater in Colorado, right? With the Dark Knight screen, dressed like the Joker.
No, exactly. And it's like I don't know. I feel like you always have them. Like you can find them on Facebook, like just their entire profile picture. It's just all the Joker with like some edgy quote, and they're just like, you know. I think it goes hand in hand, like being very truly antisocial. I mean, you have like, you know. Many cases of that in mass shooters, like the dude who like got so mad he couldn't get a date with women. Not a bad looking dude, just was upset he couldn't get a date with women and went and shot up that sorority in California, I think it was.
Yeah.
So it's like guys like that. It's like
well, it just goes to show you that it's not just being pretty. You have to have a nice personality too.
Yeah, exactly. That's, hey, you know.
Somebody said it.
All right. Now, Yorgos Lanthimos. There was also a teaser trailer for his. What was it? Kinds of Kindness.
Yes.
Yeah. I did see that one as well.
Pretty interesting.
Looks great. Looks weird. Looks Yorgos. I love Willem Dafoe wearing a rash guard and a Speedo sitting on a diving board for no reason. That's great. Give me more of that.
Yeah.
I will say, just the dialogue I heard in the trailer did not sound as autistic as usual. So if he lets me down there, I'm gonna cry.
Isaac, I don't know if you listened to our episode last week, but Andrew and I talked about like this film looks like he's just kind of like bringing in his like all-star team. It's like all of the best of like all of his movies, like his like top, his like, you know, the cinematographer from Poor Things, and I think it was also from The Favorite. Just like some of the best actors and actresses he's worked with. It seems like he's really bringing them all in, and I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Looks like the only one who wasn't really coming back was Olivia Colman, and I think Colin Farrell.
Yeah, Colin Farrell.
Well, I mean, Defoe and Emma Stone will always be like his muses. He loves them.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
Yeah, they're not just phenomenal actors. They work so well in his universes, like in his film world, in the way he does things. They work. I mean, very well.
Emma Stone in Poor Things. I mean, she deserved that Oscar 100%. Like,
it really was such a toss-up between her and Lily Gladstone, because they were truly the two best performances of the year. Very different, but the two best performances of the year.
Yeah.
So when she won, though, I mean, that performance it's batshit. It's insane.
Yeah. No, my girlfriend watched both those movies with me. She absolutely loved Poor Things. She said it's probably one of her favorite films of all time now, and she's excited. We will be going to see Kinds of Kindness in theaters when it comes out.
Isaac, I had a bit of a hot take.
Yep.
I don't know if you listened to the episode or not, but it was that Poor Things was the movie that Barbie wishes it was.
No. So funny enough, I had this recent conversation with my friend Paul Hannigan, who lives in Los Angeles. He's a producer. He believes that a movie like Barbie is like walks so that a movie like Poor Things can run.
That's
Barbie
actually the
is
argument
the-
that Shelby gave back to me, and I was like, no, I reject it.
Barbie is a for the masses sugar-coated version of the same message that Poor Things delivers with.
Yeah, but it's a sugar-coated baseball bat.
Yeah.
It's gonna knock your fucking teeth out.
Barbie was so good. I thought Barbie was hilarious.
I mean, Ken was hilarious.
Yeah, Ken is amazing. Anyway, so I think my favorite Yorgos movie is the least Yorgos movie which is Killing of a Sacred Deer. That's my favorite Yorgos movie.
Yeah. I think mine is Poor Things. I think Andrew, I think yours is the favorite, right?
I really latched onto the favorite. I thought that the performances in that one, the writing was phenomenal. The fact that Olivia Colman won like every Best Actress award you could for that movie, I was like, absolutely deserved. Like, she's a one of a kind actress.
I think it really can be broken down to in like what you look for and like what you appreciate in a movie. I think I explain it as like I am much more of a visual person. I like spectacle. I like the surrealism of Poor Things. That's why it stood out to me. That's why I favored it over the favorite.
I mean, they were written by the same guy, so like Tony McNamara wrote both of them. Have you guys ever watched The Great? Have you guys ever watched The Great?
The Great
on Hulu.
The Great. That's a show, right?
It's a show with Nicholas Hoult and Elle Fanning about Catherine the Great.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
I haven't watched it.
It is very good. I would suggest it, especially if you like The Favorite, because that's Tony McNamara's show. He ended it at the end of the third season. But the guy who wrote Poor Things and The Favorite, that's his show. It's on Hulu. He ended it at the end of season 3 because they said it was up for debate as to whether or not they were going to get season 4, and so he just said, "Well, we're going to end it then." It ends well. I'm happy he ended it when he did, but it's just a wonderful show.
Yeah.
Just super good. If you like that style, that favorite Poor Things style, you will adore The Great. It is a wonderful, wonderful show.
Nice.
All right.
I'll put it on the
next
list.
Trailer that looked pretty interesting, an A24 flick. Maxine, Maxxxine. It's about an actress out in Hollywood, and it's 1985, I believe. Whenever the one serial killer, what's his name? It's like the Night Slasher or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's doing his shit. And it looks like this is part of like a loose... Huh?
I said, is he?
He's doing his shit?
I said, is he doing his shit?
I mean,
you guys haven't watched Full or X yet. You need to watch those.
I haven't. I do.
Then you'll know what the fuck's up.
Alright, so... you bring up both of those because this is kind of like a trilogy, loose trilogy, right?
It's not very loose anymore. It was after X, but not after Pearl. It's pretty not loose anymore.
All right, so it goes what? X, Pearl, Maxine.
Uh-huh.
All right, so looks good. I'm gonna be honest. Looks nice in 80s. Very what's the word?
I didn't watch the trailer for this one. I haven't seen any of those. I haven't seen any of the 3. They're all Ty West though, right?
Yeah, they're all Ty West.
Ty West, famously the husband of renowned EDM producer Alice in Wonderland.
Okay. Yeah, famously.
So
I knew her before I knew him. Funnily enough.
The thing too with that movie, real quick. Let me just swing this in there.
Get it out.
Huh?
They shot X during COVID,
Yeah.
so it's obviously a lot smaller, but it was a pretty big hit that year for A24.
It was, yeah, I remember it.
Ty West on the set of, or in pre-production for X, came up with an idea for a sequel with Mia Goth, the lead actress in all of these movies. They wrote it in pre-production, sold it to A24 before X even released. Mia Goth and Ty West wrote it together. They then filmed it still during COVID while X was in release, while it was still out. They filmed Pearl.
Wild.
Pearl was then successful enough that him and Mia Goth wrote a sequel to that together, which is now Maxine. Mia Goth also, as I said earlier, Andrew, Father Shia LaBeouf's wife.
Deacon Shia LaBeouf's wife. Yes.
A phenomenal
Put some
actress.
respect on his name.
She is a fantastic actress. If you guys haven't seen Infinity Pool and you want to have nightmares and just feel like honestly fucked up for a couple days, you should watch it.
That's been on my... Honestly, can we do that for the next episode? Because that's been on my list for a little bit.
You want to watch Infinity Pool? Let's go, dude.
And we also... I know we had your... what were the other ones?
Tyrone.
Honestly, kind of weirdly in a similar vein, I feel like.
Of Infinity Pool?
Just like in a weird concept of like doubles.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a weird concept, but Infinity Pool is like...
No, I know they're vastly different. In like, yeah.
As a writer, Infinity Pool makes me feel like I don't feel safe by myself.
I like it. So,
are you guys a fan of that like genre of film or literature, even of like The Double?
Yeah, who wrote it? Was it Andrei Tarkov? No, it wasn't Andrei Tarkovsky. Who wrote
was
it?
A Russian guy. I'm not sure
It
who.
was. I don't remember which one.
But like Richard Ayoade, who some people would know from Submarine. He directed Submarine. He also directed this movie, The Double. But he was in IT Crowd. He plays Moss.
The Double with Jesse Eisenberg. I saw that.
Yeah. And it's like a really abstract, surreal kind of movie, which is funny because he made it after Submarine. Submarine is like very grounded, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Totally different movie. Richard Ayoade is a director that like I wish did more, but it seems like he hasn't. He's also just like a big personality for like British game show type stuff.
Should we, Andrew, have you seen, what's the, is it Us by Jordan Peele? Yeah.
I haven't watched any of Jordan Peele's movies.
Should we, I feel like we should just do a triple feature of like, they clone Tyrone, Infinity Pool, and Us as like it's like a trifecta of like kind of like a duplicate, like a clone concept, but like I feel like on three varying kind of.
God, we haven't known each other. We haven't known each other very long, and we've never met in person. But that's the greatest idea you've ever had.
Thank you.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I only have one kind of friend, and it's the individuals who are all just enough like me to get along with me.
That's accurate. Yeah.
Fuck. All right, last trailer on the list so that we can get to the meat, the fucking beef.
Yep.
Horizon, which is the Waterworld guy's new movie.
God, Kevin Costner, man, come on, be nice.
Kevin Costner,
the Waterworld guy,
Mr. Runs with Wolves himself,
dances with wolves.
Shit.
Suck it.
He's made a Western epic, which you said is coming out in 3 parts.
Yeah.
All right, so
it's Horizon, an American saga.
Yep.
It's a Western. You said the budget for these about 9 hours of film was $500 million.
Yes.
Which when I first thought was just for one movie, I was like, that's fucking insane. But then when you're like, it was coming out in 3 parts, I was like, that's a little more reasonable. But also, westerns, I feel like, are not a huge genre. I feel like they're just not popular right now.
They're not, but this is like his dream project. Warner Brothers gave him the blank check. He did it. I mean, this was in the phase of Warner Brothers too, when Zaslav was just doing like he was off just he was pretty much Homelander jerking off at the top off the tallest building onto the unsuspecting public below. He still kind of is, but yeah. I mean, this was announced about and started filming about 6 months before the Batgirl cancellation tax write-off scenario happened.
Yikes.
So yeah, not great, but I'm excited to see it. I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
The dude he wrote it with has like this dude he wrote it with though has like nothing else on his resume.
Yeah, I think he just hired him to do it for him.
I love that. He's just like, hey, you're a guy.
Well, it's kind of like Kevin Costner had all these disparate notes and ideas and thoughts, but he didn't want to be the one who actually sits down and puts them all together.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. Never have I more empathized with the plight of Kevin Costner.
Dude, it's so easy to write scenes. It's so hard to write narrative.
Boo.
Give me your scene. I'll write the dialogue so it sounds like something from Yorgos Lanthimos. All right, so this week we watched Andor.
Season 1.
Season 1, because currently there's only the one.
Season 2 be coming, though.
It was my first time watching it.
Yes. The reason I recommended we watch this was because huge, big YouTube review channel, Red Letter Media, finally watched Andor. And they put out a review on it. Have you guys ever watched them before?
No.
I have heard of Red Letter Media, yes.
Alright, so they're definitely what I would call like the grognards of Star Wars.
Yeah, they got some problems. It's like the Angry Joe or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, it's like I'm an old man and I gotta yell at a cloud.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. But they were surprisingly positive about this show.
Mm-hmm.
I think their major complaints were just like pacing, and they had a kind of loose conversation about like, well, Star Wars, like the original trilogy, is fantasy, and then they made the prequels and they suck because they're not fantasy, they're like a political thing.
The prequels are wonderful.
The sequels suck. And then the sequels suck because they just fucking suck.
I'm glad you said that, Isaac, because I love the prequels.
Yeah, I think we're all
prequels are amazing.
appreciators here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the prequels are fucking slap.
If you want to know our real thoughts on it, you can go back and listen to our fucking Star Wars listen through.
Yeah. No, I think we've always had that consensus. I've always had that consensus. Even when people used to shit on them, I used to fucking debate them and be like, no, these are great.
I got in a drunken argument at a bar before I met my wife. And defended Jar Jar Binks to the hilt because without him, the vote would not be there for the Emperor.
You mean the actual antagonist, the true antagonist of the sequels, Darth Jar Jar?
Secret Sith Darth Jar Jar.
In doing so, actually got a girl to go running into the ocean in our underpants together.
Because you defended Jar Jar Binks.
Because I defended Jar Jar Binks drunkenly. Yeah.
That's the dream.
That's the dream.
I was in a dark place, guys. Don't do that. But I was in a dark place. But I'm just saying, it was Jar Jar. One for Jar Jar, right there.
One for Jar Jar.
Yeah, if you a true man of the 21st century, you don't talk to women, all right? So
Hey, listen, we had a great time.
Especially in public.
Nothing ever. We just decided, you know what? Let's go run to the beach in our underwear because we were wearing clothes. So we just took off our clothes to our underwear, ran to the beach, and then we walked home, and that was it.
I hope you weren't at the bar in your underwear. You fucking
Respectable.
It was a wonderful night.
All right, Andor. So Andor's kind of interesting. It's 12 episodes, and it has basically 4 3-episode arcs, which I'll break down now, and we don't have to go like deep into the plot then. So episode 1 is the escape from Ferris wheel. The planet Ferrix, where Andor and his mom live. He also has several friends there. Arc 2 is a heist from an Imperial garrison. Arc 3 is a jail arc. Every D&D campaign needs a jail arc, apparently. And then Arc 4 is the return to Ferrix and the uprising on Ferrix.
Yeah.
So Andor, although being the main character, is not the most interesting main character. Carl Sarn is. Cyril Karn is.
Cyril Karn. Yeah.
Carl Sarn.
Carl Sarn. Jesus Christ. Why am I so dyslexic sometimes?
Don't bring the Lord into this.
All right. Cyril Karn, played by Kyle Soller. He's the most interesting character. Prove me wrong.
I like the Stellan Skarsgård of the whole show is my favorite.
Okay, true. He's also very good. But like that's you don't even have to say it. Like it's Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah, well, I fucking said it, so I said it. Deal with it.
Everything outside of his character in Marvel is like good.
Yeah, and his offspring are just magnificent actors.
Yeah, the whole family. It's family business.
Yep.
I don't know who my favorite character was.
All right.
That's
in
a
that
tough
case, let me break this keg open. Okay. This is one of the only shows that actually uses a motif within all of the fucking Star Wars shows that they've pulled out now. Several times there are like mentions of collars or shots of collars where people are like adjusting their collar, or Cyril has had his collar tailored to be higher, or people are tugging at their collar. Fucking some people get straight up hung. They get fucking pinned to the wall by a robot by their neck, and there's like a lot of that going on. So you get like Andor, who is trying to escape a collar. You get Cyril, who's having his collar tailored higher. Then you also have what's her name, Mira. Deidre Mira, I believe, the ISB woman, who is kind of another main character. She is like tugging at her collar all the time because she's like struggling against the bureaucracy in order to like get more things done. I think that alone places this on like a higher artistic level than anything else from the Star Wars.
There's a depth to it that we get. Compared to this show in general, everything just feels so shallow, so surface level. In many regards, this show.
You mean like other shows in comparison to this feel shallow, right?
Yeah. All the other Star Wars shows that have come out, Ahsoka.
Oh, for sure.
I can't even name them all.
Well, this is the only one that like presents the Empire in a like non-cartoonishly like mustache twirling light.
I gotta say
the
though,
Empire's
Andrew,
fucking competent in this.
I gotta say though, Andrew, it does fucking track for you to be favorite character is the not the youth guy.
He's not a Nazi. He's not even part of the Empire. He's a corporate security guy who gets fucking fired.
Yeah.
Also, you trying to tell me you wouldn't wear the Hugo Boss?
Dude, they do have sick uniforms. I'm not gonna lie. They do. They do have sick
I
uniforms.
literally want a 40K show made about a commissar, alright? I want fucking Gonskos, alright? Make it, Amazon. Get it done.
Do your fucking job.
Yeah. But, like, everyone has a motivation that's, like, clearly defined, and they're always operating from that motivation. With the exception of Andor, and when he's the main character, you kind of expect his motivation to change and kind of be, like, amorphous in the beginning, become a little bit more resolute at the end, which is absolutely what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, that growth
Also-
doesn't happen in any other Star Wars show. Go ahead.
Also, I have to say, even though he's only in it shortly, one of my absolute favorite characters in that show is Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis character in the prison.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
His
Kino
whole arc
Yeah.
is so... It's like that... You remember that episode of The Twilight Zone with the guy who wants to read all the books? I think it was the first episode, and everybody's gone, and he goes to the library, and he gets all the books he's ever wanted to read and stacks them up, because now he's got time and nobody will bother him, and then he steps on his glasses. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes. I remember that.
Yeah, that's like at the end, spoilers, at the end of the episode of the Prison Break, when he's like, oh, I can't swim, and he's just kind of like, he's done all of this for nothing. Right? Like,
Well,
horrible.
Did he do it all for nothing, or is there a larger message there?
Exactly,
Like, it
yeah.
is
It's
tragic.
so-
It is absolutely tragic.
Yeah.
That's like the beauty of it, is that they actually wrote something that has real tragedy in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the fact that he got redemption for the fucking sequel trilogy is pristine,
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, it's very good. I mean, between him and Stellan Skarsgård, I was like, this is not Star. This is the problem. Disney has so turned Star Wars into this thing that when I first watched Andor, I was like, oh, this isn't Star Wars. But what I was
No, it's
What I was
different and
bothered-
it's fresh, man.
what I was sensing was, oh, this isn't the like cookie cutter Disney Star Wars that we've been presented with up to this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
I mean,
good.
with the exception of Andor, it's all new characters, and like
Yeah.
fucking Thrawn doesn't pop in randomly, or Ahsoka doesn't pop in randomly. It's like
Wait for
the
wait for
universe is
season
more
2,
than 10
baby.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, season 2, like, there's a couple of things that get hinted out pretty fucking heavily. Like, very clearly, something's gonna happen to the droid, and then his fucking memory banks or whatever are gonna get stuck in an Imperial
Right.
droid, and I'm all about that. Something.
I didn't watch the trailer for season 2, but is that what they're insinuating? Like basically,
There isn't a trailer for
these-
season 2 yet.
yeah, there isn't one yet.
oh, okay.
It's just heavily hinted at the end of the first season.
Oh, so it's ended up they're basically going to take.
If you in Rogue One, yeah, it's that, right? Is that what you're
That's
getting
what I
at?
figured. I figured basically they're going to take his memory, put it into one of those Imperial droids, and then that's going to become like his companion. That's like traveling with him, right?
So the droid's name in Andor is B2EMO. B2EMO. In Rogue One, the droid is K2SO, but I think based on their personalities, you can tell that like they're gonna kill off the cute little droid and they're gonna stick him in K2SO.
And they're probably gonna have him do like a crazy fight scene where he just decimates people in the new body with that personality, and then that's where they like rebrand him as who he becomes in Rogue One. And Rogue One, honestly, is next to the original George Lucas Star Wars movies. It's the best one that's come out since the prequels.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, 100%.
I fully agree. I think the comments about pacing, because I did hear a lot of like, oh, the show is so slow, but there's no filler. B, it takes time to build up character, and they are fine with sitting on that, and I think that that's a good thing that they do. C, maybe they could have done it a little faster.
What?
Like,
So
maybe if it had come out in like 4 episodes where each arc is like an hour and a half movie, it would have felt quicker. But I don't know.
My thing. So I didn't have any issues with the pacing, and that's also like I watched Andor all yesterday. I watched it in its entirety, all 12 episodes yesterday. Had no issue with the pacing whatsoever. Didn't get bored or tired of it at any point.
Yeah.
It kept my attention. And I think that's the other point I want to make is Andor, I felt like the themes and what they were going for held my attention the entire time. It wasn't something I didn't give a fuck about. Like whatever's going on in Ahsoka, I don't fucking care. But what I do care about are the seeds of the rebellion being planted and the beginnings of an uprising against the Empire that's portrayed in Andor. Like, this shows the roots. This shows how the rebellion starts. It shows how you have these rebel factions that aren't unified that eventually become the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah. And it really explores like how a revolution begins, and it does that from like a fairly historical sort of point of view.
Yeah. And like, that's something I really enjoy, something I can get behind, something that I'm actually interested in. It's not just like a bunch of nonsense and gobbledygook that I couldn't give a fuck about. Like, I don't know. When I look at Andor, I look at something like Ahsoka and I go, what the fuck was going on here? Like, what is the point of any of this? Like what's the overall thing I'm supposed to care about? Am I supposed to? Am I supposed to care about escaping a planet on a bunch of fucking whales?
That's the thing, right? Is like Ahsoka kind of takes for granted that you're connected to the character, whereas this doesn't, and it really establishes the characters. Like, we haven't even talked about Mon Mothma, but like Mon Mothma's side plot stuff is so good.
You know what? Honestly, now I'm thinking about it, Mon Mothma is probably my favorite character.
She's very good in this. Yeah,
I liked a lot of the political intrigue and like her navigating within the Empire, part of her story. Like, I like seeing all of that of like how she's going about trying to funnel this money and figure out how to fund the rebels,
while also helping her daughter marry an SS agent.
Yeah. Also, while her sister is committing a heist against the Empire.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
But also
like
the way she gets around that issue of like, how do I explain 400,000 credits missing? The way that she places it on her husband's gambling habits that are like something that he's had an issue with before. Fucking ingenious. Like,
oh yeah,
fantastic.
Somebody smart enough to lead a rebellion.
Yeah.
This is a side tangent, but years ago when I got Battlefront 2 on like Origin or whatever EA's program was at the time for like $5 because it was a dead game and no one played it and they were just giving it out for as free as they could make it, I guess. I needed a username for that, so I made my username more like Mon Milfa.
That's where that came from.
Yeah, which is why on like Magic the Gathering Arena,
you're Mon Milfa.
Mon Milfa.
Nice.
I was honestly wondering where that came from, and now that makes a lot more sense.
Now we know.
Because I was just like typing random shit in, and I'm like, I don't know. I need like a Star Wars name. And like the degenerate that I am, it just popped into my head. I was like, more like Mon Milfa. Yeah.
That's the origins. I love it.
Yep.
But no, Andor, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I mean, for me, this was like the first Star Wars series. I mean, we watched Ahsoka, but like before Ahsoka, I had been so like just felt disenfranchised from all of it. I just didn't want to. I mean, I had watched like 1 or 2 episodes of Kenobi, didn't watch Boba Fett, haven't watched any of the new season of the most recent season of The Mandalorian, or like basically anything within Star Wars. But Andor, like watching that, I'm just like, I really hope they stick to their guns for season 2.
Yeah.
And they don't fucking ruin it.
Something I really liked about this show, kind of to go back to that point about like from a cultural point of view, is like regime change, right? And it's just showing like how do you establish a fascism, like a fascist empire. How do you present that on screen? How do you explore it? And I was reading recently, because I've been reading a couple books. One of them is Karl Marx, Racist, which was published in 1979. By the way, if you guys don't know this, Karl Marx, horrifically racist. Literally argued against the abolition of slavery in North America. And made many terrible comments about Jewish people, despite the fact that he was himself entirely Jewish.
Too?
He was a mess. All right, when you look into him, he's a fucking mess.
Yeah.
But another book I got reading, because of a quote from that, was Revolution and Culture. Revolution and Culture.
Sounds great.
Bogdanov-Lenin controversy.
Oh, geez.
So this was Bogdanov was another guy who got quoted at the beginning of that other book I was reading. I was like, who the fuck is this? So I started looking into him. It was a guy who, around the time that Lenin was becoming popular, they were at first friends, but then kind of became rivals, and then Lenin obviously won. But there's a really interesting little quote, I guess, from this book that, like, a revolution by definition must change the political culture. New symbols, new political formulas, and new rules of the game must replace those that were delegitimized and discarded along with the former ruling class. How this new political culture is to come into being, however, is unclear. So this show actually does, like, when I read that, I thought of this show because I was like, oh, this show like does a really good job of how like both sides of the conflict are trying to do that. Like, it shows you how the Empire is trying to do it, and it shows you how the rebels are trying to do it. And like, it's just, god damn it, it's just good.
Have either of you ever seen The Death of Stalin?
That's one with Steve Buscemi, right?
Yeah.
No,
Armando Iannucci. That is.
I have not.
That is definitely, throw that on. That's not going to be in our clone fest that's coming up next week, but that's definitely one to watch for a deep conversation on the fall of the Soviet Union, if you want to, because that movie is fucking hilarious.
Well,
it is a very
stuff
very dark comedy
of this like weird kind of cultural phenomenon where like people raise up Marx, but then they'll like throw down other people. You know, like literally pulling statues down and stuff like 5-6 years ago now, where it's like the person owned slaves, you know, because they were like American or something in the South, but then like they also did a lot of good things for the country, and it's like a very gray area. Whereas like, I think Marx, there's a small faction of people who are like, yes, Marxism. And I think like not even within like the actual like modern communist sort of ideology is Marx like upheld that much. But like popularly, he's like a little bit of a folk hero, which is really frustrating.
Yeah, and very concerning.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely be willing to watch something like that.
It's very good. It is a very good movie.
So for Andor, the costuming, which I wanted to talk about, feels so Star Wars. Like everything everyone's wearing feels like very lived in when you're on Ferrix, right? Everyone seems like they're lower class, working class sorts of people who like have their beat up dirty clothes and they're wearing them all the time, and like it all looks natural. It looks good. Like it's good costuming. You see the Imperials have these like nice clean uniforms, and you see them in like various states of dress at certain times. So like they have to pin their collar up before they go to meetings and stuff, and it's just fantastic. You also get a lot of shots of the shore troopers during the episode that I think is like the first episode of the prison arc. Which is awesome because shore troopers look fucking sick. I had to paint fucking like 12 of them, so I know way more about shore troopers than I have any right to. But then you compare that to like the costumes in Ahsoka or the costumes in the Acolyte trailer, and they're like these super stiff looking Jedi robes where like Jedi robes have never looked like that in any other depiction, where it's like they look like they're comfortable, right? But then in the Acolyte trailer, they look fucking stiff, and you're like, ugh, this looks fake. It looks like cosplay, you know, where it's like you overstarched it, or you like ironed it too stiff, or like I don't even know. Yeah, so like I appreciate how this show, despite the fact that it's like, yeah, we're a science fiction show, like they take itself seriously enough to be like, yeah, let's get some like beat up clothes for these people to wear so that they look like they belong in this universe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was my comment on costuming. Set design in general, very good. The locations were nice. I think the cheapest thing you could say is like some of the CGI shots could have been a little cleaner, but like you also know how overworked CGI artists are at Disney, so you kind of gotta forgive them a little bit. It's not their fault. It's production's fault. It's the fucking people up top. It's the guy up top. I don't know. Do you guys have like any closing remarks for Andor?
Star Wars shows should just be like Andor.
For sure.
I think the reason why Andor works is because Tony Gilroy said, I want to make a political thriller that happens to take place in the Star Wars universe, not how do I tell a cool Star Wars story? How do I shove plot into Star Wars?
Yeah.
And that distinction is, I think, the reason it's so good.
Yeah, I also want to make a point to the costuming where Andrew, you mentioned like it feels like the Ferrix, the costuming like of the people of Ferrix feels very lived in versus like those within the Empire. Do you also feel like the costuming in Ferrix is a good like precursor and like definitely takes inspiration from like a lot of like what we see as far as like the Rebel pilots and a lot of the Rebels? It feels somewhat reminiscent, or like, as I said, like a precursor to what we see in the original trilogies for what the Rebels are wearing.
Yeah, I mean, like, whenever you see the Rebels in, like, on Hoth, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're all wearing this, like, not, like, raggedy, but, like, they look like they've been fighting for a while. They look like they're fucking veterans of a war, right?
Yeah.
So their stuff looks like it's been used. It looks like it's been worn.
Yeah, I almost felt like a lot of like we're seeing like a lot of like oranges and stuff. A lot of like what we see for the Rebel pilots. Like when we look at the guys working like the shipyards or the scrapyards or whatever, and like we see their costumes and their gloves and stuff like that. It felt very reminiscent of the pilots' uniforms, as well as like some of the hats and stuff we see from the Rebels wearing. Kind of remind me of almost like the helmets that we see the rebel units wearing.
For sure. And I think I 100% think that that's intentional. It looks like,
Yeah.
because the series takes place 5 years before the Battle of Yavin,
Yeah.
or at least this season does.
Yeah.
So it makes 100% sense that the fashion would be very similar to what you see in those movies.
Mm-hmm.
And something that Red Letter Media pointed out was that this show nails the like dirty, sweaty 70s kind of feel. So even like the haircuts and things, the mustaches, the rebel mole in the ISB, right? The redhead guy who has like the mustache and like almost a bowl cut or something. Looks like he's straight out of like one of the original Star Wars movies. Yeah, no, like 100%.
It was nice because it felt very intentional, and it feels like so much thought was put into a lot of those like small things and nuances of the show that aren't put into a lot of these other Star Wars shows. And I think it's those little things that add up and make this a very quality, some actual very quality Star Wars content in this expanded universe that Disney's trying to do and failing to do.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So I think it sounds like we all highly recommend this.
Yeah,
you should watch
I
it.
would. I watched it in a single day, and I just couldn't get enough of it. And I think I finished it and went, I wish there was more right now.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. Especially because the way it cuts off, or the way it ends, is him being like, look, kill me or take me in. And it's like he has committed to the cause. He's done that thing that, like, he's gained purpose, right?
Yeah, you get that growth where it's like, this guy, he's very clear in his intentions from the get-go with the heist, is that he just wants to take his money, take the win, and leave, and basically go retire, and you see his ideologies transform.
But even his retirement is like, yeah, I'm gonna go to a like tourist beach and just live there, and it's like, that's not realistic. It's hiding from your problems. It's the same thing he was doing on Ferrix, where it was like, I'm borrowing money from people, I'm stealing things, and I'm like generally avoiding responsibility. And by the end of the show, you see that, he feels a personal responsibility, and like an accountability to a degree. Because it's not just accountability, right? Because he goes back to Ferrix and he pays off all his debts and whatnot, but he still tries to run away because he doesn't have that sense of responsibility. And then at the end of, and that was like the halfway mark in the series, and then by the end of the series, it's not just accountability, it's responsibility, right? He has a responsibility to protect people, to liberate people, to do all those things that are necessary for the Rebel Alliance.
Well, it's nice because we get such a well pieced together story for him for why he comes to this conclusion. I mean, he's minding his own business in this like touristy beach planet, just doing his own thing. And what happens? Like he said, yeah, I'm just gonna like take my gains and lay low. He's even tried to lay low, and what happens? He gets fucking arrested and put into essentially a concentration camp. Because you never escape. You serve your time and you're put right back in there.
What is it that he says whenever they're like, "What'd you do?" He says, "I didn't do anything." And it's not even the first time you've heard that line in the show, because whenever the corporate guys fuck up, and then the Empire comes in, the like chief of security is like getting his resignation papers handed to him basically, and is like, yeah, you're done. Bye. Empire's in control of this system now. You're welcome. And what does he say? He goes, I didn't do anything wrong. Like I had nothing to do with this. And in fact, he straight up said, don't fucking do anything about this. You're only going to cause problems.
Yeah.
So it's I like straight up. Yeah.
I also think the show's ability to have you captivated and wanting to know more and how, like, what decisions he's going to make when we all know where his story ends is a testament to how well the story's written. Because yeah, you could go, okay, we're gonna learn how he becomes this guy, but it's more than that. It's like learning how, like you said before, Andrew, like revolution starts. Like, how does somebody who's so against the idea of it become a key player in it?
Yeah.
And
or
that,
even like the number of people who are punished for like not doing anything wrong is like a very strong message in this. So like chief of security, Andor's dad,
Yep.
or Cassian's dad, I mean, like there's a number of people that did nothing wrong and get punished for it. And like that's fascism, you know, like that's the Bolshevik Revolution, you know, that's Leninism, that's Nazi Germany. Like it's not any one thing. Like it's fascism is this like insidious creeping thing that comes up from underneath and then just like ruins people's lives, you know. And I think it's a really big tragedy in like the culture today that like fascism gets thrown around as such a nothing word. Like, oh, you don't think that like trans women should compete in sports? Like you're a fascist or something. It's like, oh man, like that word is so much heavier than just that, you know. It's a deeply insidious word, and it's a deeply insidious way of running things. So one of the better video essays I watched on Andor was like, yeah, this is Tony Gilroy's like artistic masterpiece railing against fascism, and I 100% agree with it.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very good.
Yeah, I will say that I think that's another one of my favorite things about it is you're getting a look into. I don't know. I don't feel like you really get that look into it from any other piece of Star Wars media. You don't get a look into the society and like the stuff going on under the Empire. Like you don't really get that. You don't get as much of that like fascist feel as you do from this, where like you're tackling issues like, yeah, they're basically, you know, there's so much overreach from the Emperor and the Empire, and they're like controlling the banks of even the senators, like even the politicians that are supposed to be serving the Empire. Like there's so much oversight and so much control, like being exercised by the Emperor. You really do finally get that feel of like, oh yeah, like they were really like they had shit on lock.
And one of the most effective things they do to establish that, right, is that they make the Empire competent.
Yeah.
So like the ISB discovers Krieger's raid is going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. Deja Mira discovers this Axis character. Cyril Karn doesn't give up after he fucking fails to capture Cassian. He keeps fucking pushing and being like, look, y'all don't realize what a menace this guy is. Like,
yeah.
And I even like that what Cyril is doing is not necessarily evil, right? He is pushing for justice. Like 2 people were murdered. Any other society, you'd be like, yeah, something should happen about that.
Yeah.
But also like the brutality too of the Empire with like they hang people in the streets in these like Outer Rim type worlds. It's not just the economic control happening within the core systems. It's the brutality in the frontiers. I mean, it's world building, right? This is one of the only shows that has done like legitimate world building. You can watch The Mandalorian and have no fucking clue.
Dude, Andrew, I don't know. There was no lightsaber, and we all know there's no lightsaber Star Wars is shit at world building.
There's no lightsaber yet. And also, there might have been. Were you looking?
Yeah,
Were you looking at Luthen? Did you happen to notice his walking cane?
Yeah, I you know.
Did you happen to notice the kyber crystal that was very valuable to him?
Yeah.
And what color is it? Blue?
Blue
Historically,
kyber.
the color of what kind of Jedi's lightsaber? Jedi Guardian?
Yep.
Doing what he must to protect the galaxy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I Red Letter Media pointed out that aspect to me, actually. They were like, you see his walking stick? It retracts like a lightsaber. You think it's actually a lightsaber? And I was like, oh, fuck. He's got the kyber crystal. And I was like, oh, shit. I think they are going to have him be an ex-Jedi. Yeah.
Ex-Jedi, but if he never turns it on, did it happen?
Well, also, look at that monologue that we mentioned. That very excellent Luthen monologue. What does he say? I have resolved to like never have inner peace. I have resolved to like live in the darkness and use the tools of my enemies. He's 100% saying things that we would expect a somewhat fallen Jedi who's having to do things they don't want to do to fight fascism say, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he can't be the upstanding citizen that he wants to be, so he's going to be what he needs to be, which is this Axis figure.
Yeah.
God, he's so good.
Oh, yeah. And his character's excellently written, and when it turns out that that is what he is, I'm fine with it, because I think it's an excellent character. It's not like a fucking Reba character from Obi-Wan Kenobi show where it's like cut someone's hand off for no reason and then be like, I'm in control now, and you're like, you suck, actually.
Yeah.
Well, overall, highly recommend. Great.
Do it.
Great, fantastic, amazing show.
Yeah, as far as Star Wars goes, I'm going to give this like a 9.
Yeah.
Some of the best world building we've had in Star Wars since the original trilogy and the prequels.
Yeah, you know what? I'll also give it a 9. I'm right there with you. I thought it was great.
I will give it 9 unactivated, possibly lightsaber cane out of 10.
The question is, if all the components for a lightsaber are there, does it count as a lightsaber?
It's true.
I'd say not till it's ignited.
Nope.
If a fish is on land,
Let's do it.
Is it
All of
still
them.
a fish?
Give me all of them. Give me all of them.
I got into an argument with someone recently about Star Wars shows.
Interesting.
Admittedly, my own fault. I shouldn't have said anything because this person also told me the kind of books they like to read, and I got mad about that too. But they said that their favorite series for Star Wars was The Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett. And when he said Book of Boba Fett, I went, no. I went, why? And he said he liked Book of Boba Fett because it's the trope of a bad guy like getting hurt and then being like nursed back to health by like the natives and then like becoming a better person because of it. And I'm like, okay, fair, it is that, but also it's bad.
It Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
Full circle. Kevin Costner. Yeah. Let's go.
Waterworld 2. But then I was like, okay, Mandalorian. So like, do you have like a favorite season from that? And he's like, probably 3. And I went, what the fuck, dude? How? Why? And I just, dude, like, I cannot fathom how. Because then I was like, well, did you watch Andor? And he said, yeah, I watched like the first 2 arcs and then it was boring and I didn't want to watch anymore. And I was like, Jesus Christ, I can't fucking talk to you. and it made me realize that like when I am watching something, I am like looking for the artistry in it, right? I'm like looking for the composition. I'm like breaking down the composition of the thing to be like, what's the artistic merit of this? And I think that a lot of people just don't do that, which is why like people are excited for a Mando and Grogu movie, whereas I'm like, what the fuck are you all doing? What the fuck are you all doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most people aren't looking for the artistry in it. They just want to be entertained and laugh. Most people are Dax Shepard from Idiocracy. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that reference.
Oh, I
Yeah.
fucking Luke Wilson is in Horizon.
Yes,
Oh, nice.
yes, he
I
is.
saw
Haven't
him and
seen
I was
in a
like,
while.
oh damn, I haven't seen him in anything in a while.
Mm-hmm. It has been a while. He's great.
Yeah, I love him. He hot take, he's my favorite Wilson brother.
Wow. Or should I say,
Fair.
wow.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Ciao.
Nice.
Yeah, so needless to say, I have another question here. Blade Runner. Film noir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I got into an argument with the same person about that.
Oh,
was like,
Jesus.
It's neo-noir. And I was like, I don't care. It comes from film noir. It is a film noir.
Okay, I'm going to tell everybody on the podcast listening right now, you guys can break down your noirs into subgenres all you fucking want. They're all fucking noirs. So take that, roll it up, light it on fire, and inhale it deep into your lungs because it is the truth and you cannot escape it.
You know what the most frustrating thing was? He goes, I've done academic work on this. And I went, I don't fucking care if you wrote an essay on it for school, okay?
Is this
I
someone
love
I
that you-
know, Andrew, or is this one of your random acquaintances?
You remember
in
that
the real
person
world?
that we went to the Renaissance Fair with?
Yes.
This is that person's ex-fiance.
Damn.
I understand.
Layers.
I understand why he's an ex.
Layers.
Yeah. So I was like beating my head against the wall, like trying to talk about this stuff.
No.
The only thing we the only thing we agreed on was that Ahsoka sucked.
Fair.
And then he was like, they took like zombie stormtroopers and space witches and like all this stuff that like in theory is really cool, and they made it boring as hell. And I went, yeah, but also they shouldn't have made a show out of it. They should have maybe done like a one-off movie about it. Like if they went and they made a one-off movie about Death Troopers, right? The book that came out years ago that was like zombie stormtroopers,
Mhm.
and it was a one-off, and it only came out on Disney Plus, I would get that. And if they took out Han Solo and Chewbacca from that story, I would get that. Or even if they made, I actually think they would have a lot more success with I think it was Red Harvest was the second book, but it took place in the Old Republic. And it was about a Sith guy who was performing Sith alchemy to try to resurrect the dead. And instead, what he does is he makes zombies. And that's fucking cool, because then you have like Jedi and Sith cutting down zombies with fucking lightsabers and shit. And
Yeah.
it's just like all over a much better story than Death Troopers was. Death Troopers was like pulp and bad, and it's a fun little one-time read, but
I feel
it's
like
not got any merit to it.
Ahsoka ended up just being like a live-action continuation of Rebels, right? We all agree on that.
Yeah.
I don't understand why, though. I feel like the more interesting story for me would have been if if the show starts on this foreign planet where we have these Night Sisters and Thrawn and his undead army, and Ezra trying to survive in the wilderness and
Yeah,
being
should've been
hunted.
Ezra.
Yeah,
But
I
you
feel
can't
like
make
that.
an Ezra show under Kathy. Kathy won't let it.
So rude, Kathy. So intense.
Kathy's in control, dude. All right.
Kathy is God.
And Filoni is just like, he's got his head stuck up his own ass. When he did animation, I think he does fine animation, but like,
What do you think about the
everything
Tales?
now
Tales
is
of the-
trying to make the sequels work, and I don't like it.
What about that Tales show that's coming out, the new one about Barris and who else?
Because they made Tales of the Jedi, and now they're doing Tales of the Sith, right?
That's right. Yeah.
If it's anything like the first show, it'll be like well animated, but utterly pointless.
Great. Got it. It's unfortunate.
Like, what was the point of Tales of the Jedi? It didn't
To
do any
show
world
young
building. It didn't
Qui-Gon.
do anything.
To show young Qui-Gon with his master.
Did we need that?
No, we didn't.
No. Say it with me, class. No. And they fucking usurped the name from one of the best fucking comics series that Star Wars has ever put out. So, like,
that's why you're so mad about
they
it.
spit in the eye of us fucking grognards that remember the things that came before that were good and were Star Wars to the core. And they poop on us. They just want to poop on us old guys.
They poop on us on our heads all the time.
I mean, that's why, like, look at the movie releases that are upcoming. You got Mando and Grogu, which is like, okay, cool. Whatever. You got unannounced Rey movie coming out.
It's not announced. It's called New Jedi Order now.
New Jedi Order, a movie with that character that did nothing and learned nothing and beat.
She was born great. She was born great. She was born
bland,
great.
Brunette, white woman.
She was born great. I would have. This is the thing. I feel bad for John Boyega because I really was excited to watch Finn become a Jedi and that be the movie.
It's almost like he was supposed to be one of the main characters.
Mm-hmm. God,
and then
he's so good.
And then when they put the movie out in China, they made him really small on the poster because the Chinese are kind of racist.
Chinese are very racist. Very, very racist.
They're almost as bad as the French.
French are pretty bad. The French are really racist too. This podcast is going to turn into an episode of what other countries are racist. Russians are racist.
Speaking of racism, did you guys go see the American Society of Magical Negroes?
You can't say that word.
Did you go see the American Society of Magical Fellas?
No. It bombed.
Either.
It's supposed to be really bad. I don't want to see it. American Fiction was
great.
They pulled it
from theaters after 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's bad.
It made
Very
$2.5 million box office.
Oh.
And people are estimating it had a budget of 15 to 25 million. Possibly as low as 5 million, but highly unlikely.
It's rare to make a movie that pisses off everyone, but they did it.
I had no idea this was a thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You gotta watch the trailer and go, what the fuck? Who greenlit this?
Yeah, because it's
real bad.
The director on Rotten Tomatoes, highest rated movie, is Rotten at 59%. Lowest rated movie is this movie. It is at 28%. Rotten.
Yeah, it's really bad.
I don't know what they were thinking with that one, man.
They were trying to be funny, but
it's kind of wild.
Yeah, it's bad. American Fiction was great, and that is doing what this movie is thinking that it's doing, but actually doing it.
So I just don't understand how this director got the money to make this movie.
I could say that nobody probably does.
Like,
What studio was this?
like when I'm looking through his filmography, it looks like the biggest thing he's done is like he was on Jessica Jones, but he played a character. Like he wasn't a writer.
Interesting.
Or anything.
How
Also,
did you
like,
get money?
Do you feel like people are kind of overestimating the I don't know how to say it any other way, but this like woke subsect of society?
What do you mean?
The number of people who the number of people who are like really pushing for like the DEI kind of stuff.
It's
Because
not.
this movie
It's a
is,
very
like,
small section of the population that actually.
yeah. So do you think that this movie was trying to like capitalize on that and just like utterly whiffed, or do you think that
I
this was
think-
a good representation of what they were
I
going
don't know.
for?
I'm just out here looking for the tie between him and Harvey Weinstein, and that's how he got the money. Just like our friend who is it that was like his assistant or whatever who's getting a movie now?
Star Wars acolyte showrunner.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same vein. I'm just like, these people are getting hush money to go build their resumes because they had some tie to Harvey Weinstein and his wrongdoings. And now they're getting hush money to stay quiet.
Yeah, I believe that this movie probably was funny on the script and tongue-in-cheek in a way that did not get translated properly when it was directed, filmed, whatever. I think it's playing on a very common cinematic trope, which would be the Bagger Vance of it all. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the movie The Legend of Bagger Vance.
Nope.
But it is one of those magical trope movies. So yeah, I think it probably
well, because it's playing on the trope of like the magical
right.
fella, right? But like
Yep.
that hasn't been a popular or even common trope in what, probably since the 90s, maybe.
It's been a while. Yeah, but it's still like a term that's used and seen occasionally. Not as often, but yeah, I don't know. It was a swing and a miss. Happens a lot, but this was a pretty spectacular one.
I also think that Justice Smith, who's the lead for this, is like, I don't really like, he's in some big stuff, but like I don't know that I've ever seen him portray anything more than like, I'm a monotone sort of guy.
Yeah, I mean his
Like Detective
biggest.
Pikachu, he's great.
Yeah,
He's
he was
also
really good in
coupled
that.
with a really good
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, and it's hard not to be great whenever you're working with someone who's like really easy to be great with.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is, he was good in the Dungeons and Dragons movie too.
He was okay.
Yeah, he was pretty.
I wouldn't
good
say
in
that he was like a big draw for that.
No, he wasn't, but he was good in it. Yeah, I don't know. It was a big swing and a big miss, that movie. I don't know. I don't know how else to frame it. Scott, before I forget, what are the 3 clone movies that we're watching?
Oh,
They
so we're
Clone
doing
Tyrone,
They Clone
Infinity
Tyrone.
Pools, and Us.
Yes.
Got it.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah,
I'm excited for it.
it'll be fun. Have you seen any of those movies, Andrew?
Nah.
Let's
That's
go,
great.
dude. Let's go. I'm very excited.
Why am I gonna come into these like fucking pissed or something?
No.
Nah.
No.
They're all pretty good. I mean, I haven't seen Infinity Pool, but the other 2 are pretty quality.
Yeah, it's fun. It's gonna be fun.
Was Us Peele's second movie?
Yeah, it was a follow
yeah.
up to Get Out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Anything else? Any other minor points? Does anyone want to talk about Bob Iger saying that no one knows what woke means? A lot of people don't understand what it means.
I don't know. That man had an argument over a shower or a bathroom inside of an office. So I don't even need to talk about that man because his opinions are irrelevant.
Well, we get 2 more years of his leadership at Disney, so I'm not expecting anything to change with Disney anytime soon.
And, I don't
Unless
know.
he gets
Whoever
assassinated.
bring in someone actually good who will get rid of Kathleen Kennedy, and then we can talk.
Yeah, dude, like everything was going up whenever they put Favreau in charge, and then I don't know why they have like sidelined him, man. It really doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
I think they
dumb.
took the heart out of him whenever they got rid of Gina Carano, because he had like personally chosen her for that role.
Yeah,
I think she was supposed to be a much larger part of the Mandalorian stuff.
Yeah. He was supposed to do that. Rangers of the whatever with her too. New Republic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which got canceled and then apparently uncanceled.
Yeah, because now it's starring Bill Burr's character.
Bill Burr's gonna get to lead a Star Wars series?
That's what they said.
That's crazy. Don't they know he's a white guy?
I think it's gonna be great. That's like Tarantino stunt casting Shane Gillis to play the lead in his last movie.
Yeah, alright.
It's like, oh, he's got Tom Cruise, he's got Brad Pitt. Also, Shane Gillis is playing the lead. What?
Hell yeah. Shane Gillis. I'm gonna talk about military history for 20 minutes. Shane Gillis.
Yeah. Good time.
Oh, you know what? Another trailer that we didn't talk about. Alien Romulus.
Dude, that trailer looks so fucking good.
It looks good.
So good. So
yeah,
good.
It looks like it's not bad. Because, like, Prey was a weird one. It was like, yeah, we're doing a Predator movie, but we're using Native Americans, and it's going to be in, like, Native American kind of thing. But this is like, we're doing Alien, and we're on a ship again. And I'm like, good. That's what that series is.
That teaser trailer was great. And nothing is more terrifying to me than an army of facehuggers chasing me. So, yeah. I was like, let's fucking go. And it's the guy that did the Evil Dead remake, which was also very good and horrifying. So, yeah. I think he's going to do great with it.
Cool. All right, well, are we done?
Do it.
All right. If you listen to this point, thanks for listening. If you want to support us for some fucking ungodly reason, you can give us $1 over at patreon.com/badpipespodcast. If you want to see Scott's tweets from September of last year, you can do that on the X or Twitter or whatever we're calling it nowadays.
I'm about to bombard the tweeter.
At badpipespod. And if you want to send us a question or argue with me about the 3rd season of Mandalorian, you can do that at cryptidworksofficial@gmail.com. And as always, the music was by Carl Casey at White Bat Audio. Kiss your dog. Good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.